Здравствуйте, товарищи. Не понимаю, почему говоришь. Нет. Anna Vasil'yevna Chapman. Hey. You want me to do something on the Russian spies? Okay. Well, I'm gonna start right now. Welcome all of you, risk takers and truth seekers to podcast live, the battlefield and series Dirty Dozen top female spies, and let's go in 2000s. And this agent has the numbers 60, 1960. Do you know what that means? Is a code? Is something else? Feel free to decipher. Anna Chapman, 60, 1960. And we are in 2000s. She's one of today's most intriguing spy scandals, with one woman at the center of it. I'm sure you all heard of Anna Chapman, and I presume you watched the movie Anna as well. It's a little bit reverse engineering and everything else, but her image in the world's media, which she enthusiastically embraces, is that of vivacious super spy seductress. But who exactly is Anna Chapman? Anna Kushchenko, the daughter of Vasily Kushchenko, and was senior KGB operative. He worked as a senior KGB official at the Soviet embassy in Nairobi, Kenya. KGB state Komitet o Государственной безопасности. Kushchenko holds a senior position at the ministry, abbreviated MID in Russia, Foreign Affairs. So Ministry of Internal Division. So that was Foreign Affairs. Anna was a fairly ordinary girl who studied economics, and then who she met? She met Alex Chapman on a trip to England. And can you guess what happened after that one? As I mentioned before, she was seductress. She married him and moved to London. Of course, Anna's marriage did not last long, and after the divorce, she saw her life in the United States. Her destination was Manhattan, New York. Anna was most likely recruited as spy of that time of earlier, and as I mentioned before in all my episodes, please understand, you don't become spy overnight. You don't become spy by knocking the door on some intelligence agency. It doesn't work that way. You have been recruited. In my case, I have been recruited as well, but I was working for government sector in different role, not as somebody who's going and spy like Anna. Now, that being said, Anna, she was a part of this new generation Russian intelligence officers who were young and had little training. It was on-the-job training, so it's unclear when she started. It's very murky waters. Anna opened a real estate agency in New York after moving there and quickly settled into the Manhattan party scene. Now, I want you to wind up. She comes in New York and she opens her real estate agency. Right. Her mission, if you can call it that, had been to make wealthy and powerful friends. She was getting close to lawyers and Wall Street executives. Anna Chapman is thought to have spotted and assessed. So what she will do, she will identify people. She will identify influential people who could be recruited or blackmailed by the Russian Federation. And needless to say that through the history, we saw how the men actually falling for women. She was among the first generation of Russians to be exposed to the Western culture. Her generation grew up listening and watching Western music and TV, so she knew what's happening in the West. It was not something she didn't know. So she found herself in these nightclubs and nightlife scene where they played house music, EDM or hip hop. So she wanted to enjoy. Obviously, she was full of life, full of energy, young, a real estate agency, and she wanted to dance. That being said, the nightlife scene in Anna, which was active, like working in clubs and bars, is a breeding ground for spies of all races, nationalities, believe it or not. To some extent, they provide anonymity. Absolutely they do. They allow the spies to assess the targets in terms of voice and behavior in relaxed environment that you wouldn't find in a business setting. Don't forget, we all living the like double lives. We live in the business life, a family life, and then we going out with our buddies, with our friends, and list goes on, and we relax. And sometimes we say too much. That is very obvious. You're free to enter and leave them anonymously. Because why? Because when you approach somebody to talk, they don't even know where where you're living, where you're working, just chit-chatting. People love to talk. Well, Anna Chapman was far from anonymous. Her time in New York club scene provided her with numerous opportunities to educate herself on potential assets. And don't forget, her job was to assess and identify the asset. She was associated with individuals who had access to corporate, financial, and legal information that could be beneficial to Russian interests in general. And don't forget, in today's age, when we have the brewing war between Russia and Ukraine, imagine how many Anna Chapmans is still in the West. Now, there were disgruntled employees from larger corporations, people with financial problems, people with drug and alcohol problems. It's an important part of this nightlife scene. Anna earned enough money from her real job, and that is real estate company, to support herself. But she was dependent on a string of powerful partners and lovers to maintain the finger in her city life. So she wanted to be in city life. Doesn't matter how much money you make, you want more, you want to be introduced to other people, and the list goes on. Through her connections with party planners and the nightlife consultants, Anna was able to, gain access to some of the New York most secure velvet ropes. The nightclubs, velvet ropes, and guys open the bouncer or security. Your name on a list? Yes, please. You can come inside. Maybe not. So, there's a few places where you have the velvet ropes. One of Anna's partners in New York was with a gentleman called John Altorelli. He was a very well-known lawyer with a track record for extravagant spending. I don't even can explain to you what that means, but he was spending a lot. For customers, he had to spend a lot of money. As a result, you must take them to the baseball events. So what that actually means, bringing somebody to baseball events. That entails bringing them to the parties. A lawyer was a perfect target for the spy. Anna, particularly, she was at the top of her field, and she was with the high-value clients of this guy. Lawyers have a variety of access rights as well to confidential material. As we know, lawyers dealing with the many things, and everything what they're dealing, it's confidential. So what was Anna's job? Anna was one of those people who hung around big spenders in downtown Manhattan for some, while for others she was just one of those who lived a high-profile life that allowed her to access to elite society. Of course, in today we're going to call this influencers, but true influencers. But doesn't that rely on who is watching? I don't think we will ever know precisely how much Anna used this way of life for service. But we do know that the CIA had a mole among Russian spies. And who was this? His name was Alexander Potev. He was the SVR administration vice head. He was the mole. The organization hired him, and he provided the names of 10 undocumented spies who were living and working in the country, including Anna Chapman. When I say undocumented spies, there's a documented spies and documented spies. There's always double line of spies in one country or one place. Anna admitted guilt to conspiring to work as a foreign government spy after being detained. So what they did with her? She was sent back to Russia in 2010 as a part of American and Russian prisoner swap. So she didn't serve the sentence. She's been sent back. Now, that's a very funny thing what you're going to hear now. You remember I told you before Agent 906090 or 609060? Now, she has been assigned to identify Agent 906090 by Russian media, not 609060. 906090 by Russian media. That was her name. If you know information about Anna Chapman, Feel free, leave in the comment section below. Let's go learn from each other much more. And why do women have the more access to informations than to men? Thank you for watching Life the Battlefield. Feel free to subscribe, share, like and comment.